Hey everyone, Mark here, and it's time to go over episode 7 of Kamen Rider Gavv. And I really enjoyed how chill this episode was. This was a very, give us some breathing room. Not every episode has to be lore, world building, character. Like, this was just chill, had some entertainment, some comedy to it. I really like, right off the bat, it just starts with, Gavv and Valen on top of a rooftop, and they're trying to suss each other out. They're trying to figure out who each other's are, names. I'm trying to think, when's the last time we had the actual Kamen Riders come up with their Kamen Rider names on the fly like that? Because you know, was it Shoma called them chocolate, chocolatey and stuff like that, and he was like, no, it's Valen, yeah, Kamen Rider Valen, and it was like Valentine's chocolate. And then Gavu's sitting there like, oh, Red Gavu. I can't say Red Gavu. Gavu. And I like how they do this whole new thing for the show so far where they kind of have their own little, they pop up with their human faces while they're henshin, like their inner thoughts, like, oh no, I can't. I like how they kind of did that with the editing and how it showed up. And it showed up multiple times in the episode when they interact with each other. I thought that was really good and a smart way to do everything. I like how they aren't technically teamed up yet. They're kind of like, hey, Shoma's just like, you're here to protect humans, right? He's like, yeah. And I like how they also assume each other. Like, Shoma thinks Hanto's a granite that's had modified surgery. That's why he doesn't have a mouth on his stomach. And Valen thinks that Shoma is just a human who also had modification surgery. So they both think they are who the other person is. And I'm like, that's pretty neat. It also coincides when, Hanto's talking to Suga and he's like, hey, are there any other people out there researching, the granutes and this and that? And now, Suga wants to meet Gavv and interview him and talk to him. And then at the same time, Shoma's talking to Dente about it. And he's like, you haven't modified anyone else, have you? And this and he's like, no, not. And so I like how these seeds are being planted. Just like I said before, I was like, okay, I'm intrigued because we have, two people who are Kamen Riders who both have scientists that could do surgery. So like those parallel paths, I'm like, I like that. That's good. Also, we got a new device. Shoma gets his Kamen Rider phone of the show, and it has the ability where he can connect a Gochizo to it, and it projects as a video feed things they've previously seen. And I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty neat. And then I'm like, I wonder if that's up for pre-order yet because, merch. I'm not gonna get it. The only phone one I've only gotten two. When it comes to toys, I know I got the Revice one, the Gunda phone, and then I got the one from Saber, and that's it. I actually just pulled it up because I was really curious. As of right now, I don't see the phone up for pre-orders. Actually, I do. It is up for pre-orders. Just no images yet. That's all. So that's interesting and kind of neat. Um, I don't know. That sidetracked me. I got completely distracted because then I saw their merch to stuff that I haven't pre-ordered yet, and I was like, "Ooh, maybe I should." I gotta send out an email. Um, I do kind of appreciate the um the there's like Sachika still being like, I'm not gonna say the third rider, our third in the trio of the human characters. I do like how, Shoma, still working with her. Those scenes are fun. They were in this mansion house where artists stay. So that was kind of like the civilian, like day to day life story aspect of it. And it kind of just was used as a tool to show like Shoma, with his being part Granu and his strength, how he needs to be a little more careful. He broke a statue from one of the artists, but the artists ended up loving it, which led to that being our person who was kidnapped for the week. I'm curious about the dude Nalev. I don't know his name. I'm gonna mess it up because he was doing some upgrades on a Granite. Wasn't really sure what it was, but he ended up being our Granite of the episode. We also got to see another one of the older sisters. Oh, was it? I'm blanking on her name. It began with a G. I think it was Gra- Grotta. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real with you. All right, she showed up on the screen. I was like, okay, who's this? Hello. And I like how the ending of this with the fighting, because like I said, there wasn't really a lot of like story and world building. The most of the meat and potatoes of this was, Shoma and Hanto interacting as Kamen Riders in the beginning of the episode, and then later on when Hanto stops by Sachika's office to see if she has any information, Shoma being there, and now we got to see them interacting with each other as civilians, and them still going inside their own mind, like, okay, I gotta be careful what I say. Also, Shoma built with cardboard and basically almost like a magazine collage his house for his Go Chizo minions, and it is this thing right over here. Get out of my way. So he built his Mason Go Chizo. This thing's fun, by the way. I like this a lot. Obviously in the show it's a lot bigger, so now I'm like, oh, this isn't to scale, but that's what he built, and it's actually their home, and where they can stay and hide when people are around. And I was like, okay, because I was wondering how this was gonna be like in the show, because I mean that came out the same day as The Driver and everything else, so it was like, what's the deal with this? But hey, it took 7 episodes, but we finally got to see it. And obviously the big thing of the show was we did get our next form for Gavv, which was the Chocolatey form, and I thought it was pretty cool. I like that with the gun, he took a bite out of it after the transformation. I also like that the Chocolatey Go Chizo kind of kicked out the gummy, the popping gummy out of the belt. And once again, we had the little angel wings and stuff like that. That's always funny. I did find on Mercari on Bai, someone has been making and 3D printing custom holders for Go Chizos that look like that. So you can put the Go Chizos on, and it has like a little floating stand, and it has the wings and the halo. I'm gonna order some because I think that's really cool, to a neat and unique way to display them. So I'm gonna pick up 1 or 2. Person selling them for like $8. I was like, that's not bad. So I'll probably pick those up, like 2 of those. I did like the form. I thought it was funny. It shoots chocolate, and the Granite of the week was shooting little like metal little like sharks or fish, and I was like, this is intriguing. That's mildly entertaining. But the main thing is, when Hanto goes to investigate where this art gallery place, because he's just decides, all right, let me investigate some missing persons, because Sajika wasn't in the office, so he had no new leads, and he saw one about a male who went missing, and he goes there, and you could already see the fight was done in that section because the art gallery was basically destroyed, and that's when Hanto comes face to face with our female Grota, and she was supposedly surprised because she thought he was maybe one of their dudes in the area that gets the stuff for them, for their dark treats, but instead he's like, oh, you must be one of the Granutes, and that's how we can't find you. You wear human costumes. And she's like, oh, you know about us? I did like, even though the fight didn't actually happen yet, I did like how her little hand wand thing, she pulls it out and it turns into a scythe. And I was watching all the time. I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. I see it. I see the vision. I like Valen's henshin, by the way, because he transformed again. It wasn't as badass as the first henshin, because usually they're not until there's like an upgrade or something. But I did enjoy his henshin. I thought it looked cool again. And that's our cliffhanger. He started running towards her, and I'm like, we're gonna get a two-parter. I will say, now not talk about the episode anymore. I like that we're 7 episodes in. We've only had, outside of base form, 3 other forms for Gavv. Because I didn't want, like with snacks, it's so easy for them to have so many forms just right off the bat. And I kind of like the restraint being shown right now, because in previous shows, especially last season, like we were getting forms like every episode, and then those forms were never returning. I like the idea that we're like, we're not oversaturating with forms this early on, and I'm intrigued how that, I don't want to say pacing, but how the timeline of forms being revealed is going to work, because I personally do not want, okay, no, next week, even though he had chocolate this week, 8, he's going to get cookies. 9, he's going to get hard candy. 10, he's going to get shrimp chips or ramune, and then he's going to get, I'm like, I am glad at 7 episodes in, we don't have 7 forms already, obviously not counting base form. So without counting base form, he really only has 3 other forms right now, which I'm okay with. But yeah, that's no, like, this is a good episode. I still think episode 6 is probably my favorite so far. This one was good. It's not bad at all, and that's all I care about. Hey, as long as it's not a bad episode, like, hey, you know what? Not every episode is going to be better than the previous episode. It's just whether or not those episodes that are coming out are good or not. And obviously, being good or that's not is subjective and opinion related. I am enjoying it. Some people might not be, but it seems like the general consensus is everyone is enjoying Gavv right now, and that's great. I feel like I'm glad we're all on the same page right now, But that's it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. I'm gonna go drink some tea. I do have a video. I don't know which one's going out first, but I do have a video going over my new box full of Gavv stuff. I have recorded that before I recorded this, so I don't know which one I'm going to put up first. I'm probably going to put this review up first, and I'll probably put this one up at the end of the week. So make sure you go check that out. Make sure you subscribe and like the video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.